Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday, February 18th, 2026. I, of course, am Hammer, founder of Originator Success, Grab and Go Social, and Rate Sensei. Three great products by Hammer Solutions to help you, my originator friends, get more business in 2026. Go learn more about those. You'll be glad that you did. Remember, you can join me live each and every weekday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Yesterday, I came to you recorded from the Atlanta airport because I was going to be on the airplane and was unable to give you a live video. However, I watched it myself and I think it went pretty well. I kind of like that. So, anyway, if you're here this morning, say good morning. If you are having a great day, give me a thumbs up. Appreciate you being here. If you're watching on the replay, don't forget, give me a hashtag replay in the comments. Let me know that you're here. If you're here live, say good morning. Give me a hashtag live. If you would like a text reminder that I'm going live, we send those out as I'm hitting that button. So you can go ahead and get reminded, get the link, make it easy. Never miss a show. Sign up at hmmr.io/reminder or use this cool QR code over here. If you're on your phone right now, take a screenshot. You can go to your photos. Generally, if you press and hold, it will open up the link on a QR code in your photos. This is a little trick for you. So anyway, go ahead and check those out. Also, don't forget, you may want to sign up for our written email lock advice. I sent that out this morning. It's www.ratelockadvice.com. Get an email to your inbox each and every weekday morning with the abridged version of what we got going on for the morning. Also, we've got a great text alert service. You don't have to spend a lot of money to protect your pipeline. If you would like to get a morning and an afternoon alert, as well as alerts when reprice risk is high, then check us out at ratetextalerts.com. It's good for everybody basically except UWM, because UWM, they reprice these days at any time a mouse farts. So it could be 4 or 5 basis point movement in bonds, and they'll sometimes reprice. So it's very hard to time UWM. Be very aware of that. But everybody else kind of makes sense and does its thing. So anyway, I hope you all are having a fantastic day. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Let's jump in to all the good stuff. We're going to start with the technicals. Let me go ahead and share my screen and we'll get going there. Let's do a quick recap on these technicals. Let's see where we're at this morning, and then we'll recap where we're going next. So currently, mortgage-backed securities are down about 4 basis points on the morning. However, if you take a look, this candlestick right here is Friday. This is yesterday. So from Friday, we were at 100.33. Yesterday, we ended at 100.29. We were down about 4 basis points on the day yesterday. Not enough to see lenders reprice worse by any means, but it is enough that when you tack those 4 and these 4, we're down about 8 or 9 basis points from yesterday. And that is enough to basically make rate sheets a little bit worse this morning. Rate sheet's going to be just a little bit worse. Not really anything major that we have to worry about, but it is going to be, likely that you'll see rate sheets that are just a bit worse. Not enough to really quote any different rates. So reprice risk on the day is low today. Taking a look, we can see we're currently at 100.24. The 10-year treasury yield 4.08 at the moment. We could see it did go down. It tested 4.02 yesterday. That was kind of the lowest point of the day. And then we're working, or we can see it's going up. Remember, we don't want yields to go up on the 10-year. That's actually a bad thing. We want to see yields go down. That puts a smile on our face. And that's kind of where we're at with those. So after a really strong finish last week, we're kind of working our way back up. So remember, last Wednesday, it was at 4.17. And then it dropped to 4.10 on Thursday and 4.5 on Friday. We're still below that Thursday number. So, I mean, this is a good area, but I would consider going ahead and locking up some loans at this point. Let me go ahead and pop this on there, and I'll give this to you. Let's see if it's less than 15 days, lock 15 to 30, cautiously float, 30 plus float. So if I'm looking at my pipeline right now, what I would be suggesting, what I would be looking at is, I would say if anything is closing in the next about By the way, I still don't see the comments on here. I'm gonna have to figure out, and it was on two computers, so I know it's not just a browser issue. There's something definitely wrong, and I'll have to mess with this. But I wouldn't worry too much about rates moving up from here, especially anytime soon. However, it's still important to note that it's not likely that things are going to improve that much from here either, especially when we see this kind of a reversal situation where bonds look like they have kind of capped out. There's a high point right here around 101.40 ish. You can see that back here we hit 101.38 on January 14th. And other than the day immediately, the Friday immediately after the GSE bond buying announcement, that was the only time that we saw another day that really rallied. Otherwise, that 101.38 has been a high point. So right around that 140-ish, we'll just call it 140-ish mark here is kind of where we have to watch out and see. Yesterday, we did hit a high 100.45. We opened the day at around 100.42. So we're, that's basically kind of our high point at the moment is right here that you can see is right around that 140-ish mark. Oops, that's a little too high. Right here, we're on 140-ish, but that's kind of our best level here, and we're chipping down today. We've got some support here from the 25-day moving average, which also corresponds with a previous level. So that was 105. So right around that 104, 105 mark, we could continue. That's about 20 basis points lower from here, which would set us up for rate sheets to be worse. As far as what's going on today, we've got durable goods. Let me go ahead and adjust the screen. We'll go over some of the other stuff that we got going on here. There we go. Okay. Man, I'm super zoomed in today. Look at that zoom. Let me see if I can turn that off. Hold on a minute. Let's stop the screen share for a second so I can turn off center stage. There we go. So I'm a little farther away. Now we'll go back and we'll share the screen again. So, all right. So taking a look at screen share, I'll throw your comments up on the side so I could see them at least. Yeah, OG reference from Ron Siegel. Is it live or is it Memorex? So taking a look here, what we got going on, we had durable goods orders this morning. They fell. This was December data. So the Bureau of Labor Statistics is back on track. We will see the updated BLS data come out on the first week of March. That'll be February data. So they're back on track. The BEA, though, the Bureau of Economic Analysis, they're the ones that do the PCE inflation data. They're the ones that do the durable goods. They are still behind. So we're going to get PCE data on Friday, but that's actually December's PCE data. They're still behind on that as well. You can actually see that right here. Come on, pop that on there. So you can see the next release, February 20th. But that is going to be, like I said, that's going to be December data. So I don't think we're going to see any movement from that on Friday, by the way, just when we get there. But durable goods, the December data, it showed that they came in, they fell 1.4% in the month versus 2% expected. So the expectation was a larger decline of 2%. However, it was transportation equipment that drove the decrease. Otherwise, they would have actually been up on there. So durable goods, when you look at consumer goods, like what they show in the picture here, washers, dryers, refrigerators, it's durable goods are items that are expected to last 3 years or more. And when you take transportation equipment out of that, it's important to recognize that it actually increased 0.9%. That's, a sign of people buying more washers, dryers, refrigerators, that kind of a thing. And that's signs of a pretty decent economy. Again, people may not be earning the money. They may be spending money they don't have. We know that consumer credit is hitting all-time highs. It's the way that it is. But if they're spending money, that means companies are making money, and that means the economy is doing well. So we are going to get some other data this week. I think we get some GDP data later this week. I'll take a look in a minute. But otherwise, there's really not much else going on. This is an interesting article. Unprecedented jobless boom tests the limits of U.S. economic expansion. So this kind of coordinates with some of the things Ron Siegel points out. The healthcare was the big driver for the last jobs data and why it came in better than expected and stronger than expected. But this talks about how the economy is not necessarily like it was under Alan Greenspan in the 90s, but more like what it was for Ben Bernanke coming, in a 2003 speech where he called it a jobless recovery. So what they're basically saying is, even though the economy is doing well and recovering, it's not creating jobs. Now, I would argue a lot of that has to do with AI. AI is starting to come into its own. It is actually getting usable to where you're not replacing people, but you're increasing efficacy of people and you're increasing efficiency of people. So it takes less employees to do the same number of tasks to get a job done. And that's where AI is starting to come in and being utilized. And I see it in other companies that I deal with, smaller companies. We're using a lot of AI. I mean, whereas we would have had to hire a second developer, we're able to do things with Claude Code and speed up the process. So this is kind of why we're seeing what we're seeing here. Take a look at the expectation for Fed rate cuts. We haven't seen any changes there. Markets still not believing that the Fed is going to need to cut rates at the March meeting. I don't think that the data that we get the first week of March is going to change this much, but it is possible. But it would take a really weak labor market data. Also, not expecting a cut in April, less than a 25% chance cut of an April cut. Now, remember, this is under Powell's watch. However, once Powell is out in May, markets believe that that is when we will start to see cuts, because they believe that Trump will have more influence over the Fed Market Committee, the FOMC, the Fed Open Market Committee. So that is the expectation of what we're seeing here. Take a look. I was playing with the historical a little bit more. And I mean, you could really see, I'll go over this chart more, another time, but basically the purple line and the red line are the two lines that are important, because the purple line and the red line are expectations of whether we would be at a lower rate, 3.25, or the current rate, 3.5. And if we take a look here, this is where we have been, and this is the expectation of a lower rate. And there was a while there coming through the end stretch of the year that markets believed that it was going to happen. But now look at how it's pushed up. Markets believe we're going to stay where we're at and that there's very little chance of a rate cut. That's what this chart actually breaks down to mean. So I'll show you more about that. But if we compare that same thing, looking at the idea of an April rate cut, there was much more of an expectation a month ago that we would see one, and we're not seeing that now. It's much higher. So there's really not much going on there. And as far as rate sheets go, rates yesterday were about the same as the day before. 6.04, a nice happy place. Not quite as good as the 6.01 we got after the GSE data, when we saw mortgage-backed securities hit that high. Where is it? Here it is. When this right here was the best level, 6.01, but we're not too far from that. And that actually matches pretty well here. So this morning, you'll see rate sheets that are a little bit worse. Sorry, it's over here. You'll see rate sheets that are a little bit worse than what they were yesterday, but it won't be much. And it won't go back even to 6.10. It would be more like 6.06. So if we were using it that fine tune, 6.01 was the lowest level that they had for Mortgage News daily. Again, if we're just using that as a reference point. So anyway, I know, I'm in the dark, Ron. You guys see the comments. I don't. Ron Siegel said, much better. I was so zoomed in, we could see the specs on my glasses. Yeah, I don't know why it was doing that. So, all right. Ron says today is National Drink Wine Day. Who else drinks wine, and what kind of wine do you like? Let me know in the comments, and I'd love to hear from you. I am not a wine person at all. I am a vodka person. Vodka preference is generally Tito's, although there are a couple others I like. Vodka that I think tastes like swill is Smirnoff. It's a nasty-ass well vodka. Tastes like rubbing alcohol. Tastes like shit. Let me know, what is your drink of choice. If you don't drink wine like I don't, let me know what you like to drink in the comments. Also, I'm a cider guy. I like ciders. They're sweet. I enjoy them. Don't like beer. So I'm not a beer or a wine guy, but I am a cider and a vodka guy. So anyway, let me know what you guys have to say in the comments. Appreciate you being here. I'll see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. And have a great day. Oh, I didn't talk about the fact this afternoon we got the FOMC meeting minutes. Big deal. The reason I didn't talk about them, because they're not going to matter. They come out at 2 p.m. Eastern time, not affecting rates at all. There won't be any surprises in there. So Dora said, Hendrick's gin is the go-to. When I like wine, I like red blends. Ron Siegel's a Merlot and a Zinfandel guy. Zinfandel. Bourbon and rye whiskey. Tom's a bourbon guy. Bourbon and rye whiskey. Moscato. Yasmin's a Moscato gal. My wife drinks Moscato. I think it's a little bit of a sweeter one, right? Ron said Tito's is great, but they're a big BLM supporter. I don't care. I don't care about politics or anything else when it comes to products. I choose products based on the product itself. Otherwise, my life would get way too complicated. When I watch movies, I can get into the idea of the actor playing the role. I don't care about the actor's personal beliefs. The only actor I generally don't like that much, and depends on his roles, or Jack Black. Some of his stuff is funny, and then some stuff he annoys me. So, but his personal life, couldn't care less. Couldn't care less about any of this stuff. I don't care that Ben and Jerry's is woke or supports anything. I love Chunky Monkey ice cream, banana with walnuts and some awesome dark chocolate chunks in it, and it's a creamy banana ice cream. I don't care. Anyone else don't care about products, don't care about political leanings or anything else, and just like products? That's me. Jerry Avila is a whiskey or a vodka guy. Jared Vincent, single malt Scott. So, Tito's is great, but they're a big, yeah. I said, yeah, we said that. I just hit that. You know what? I was thinking about the ice cream again. So anyway, Amy loves it all. Whiskey, wine, beer. So, that's funny. All right, my friends, I'll wrap it up. I'll see you tomorrow. And again, thank you for joining me. I'm back in the barn. Happy to be here. And I'll see you tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.